Rock and roll.
All right, welcome to whatever episode this is of the PPBDL YouTube channel. With me tonight are special guests, my fellow division champions, Josh and Ryan. Thank you for joining me for this. Might be the last Thursday inning stretch, but we'll see what happens with the playoffs. I'm going to start sharing the screen now. You guys can say your welcomes if you would like.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Eddie. Appreciate it. Ryan and I were talking about doing this on the podcast and wanted to get together anyways on, this week and go over stuff. So happy to join you.
Glad to be here.
Just get our pictures out of the way so everyone can see.
Ryan looking like he just got out of prison right now. Jesus Christ.
Feel like it too.
Well, we'll leave the pictures up so everyone can see our beards going. I myself, I get a unique opportunity in the Army. You're not allowed to have a beard, but I'm going to be in essentially distance learning, online learning for the rest of the year. So I'm going to try and grow my Civil War general beard as best as possible.
Big shout out and congratulations on the promotion as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats, Eddie. Good job. Awesome.
All right. So can you guys see the Excel sheet?
Yep. I got it.
So we've got we were talking about this beforehand, but essentially, like, there's 2 or 3 games still going on right now, and a couple of the scores have changed within the last 10 or 15 minutes. So this is a little bit behind, but we'll update in real time. Right now, the Roto standings, Jared sitting at the top with a pretty solid week, and he's probably going to end up making the playoffs with his 3-0 week as it looks right now. Usual suspects, with the one caveat of DP, which we'll get into shortly. I'm not going to really go into any of the normal rundown list. We're just going to focus solely on the playoff teams for the most part. The current standings, like I said, myself, Josh, and Ryan are already in the playoffs, and I think it was Dodger, Irby, and then Carter sitting on the last spot with Jared's team last one out. Through Thursday, and these standings have probably already changed. Myself is 3-0. Josh, you were tied. I think you're back to being tied with Carter right now. And then Ryan, you were 1-1-1, but that might have, DP's back in the lead right now.
Yeah, I'm sitting at 1-1-1 as well.
All right.
Mine's changed.
Yeah, so I think the projected right now had Jared moving up, Carter taking that last spot, and then Irby, depending on how the matchups look, as the last one on the outside looking in. So I'm just going to scroll over, and we're going to essentially just go team by team for the playoff teams right now. Sorry, gentlemen at the bottom. You guys can talk about Torque if you want, but for the most part, we're at a 7-man race for 6 spots. So we'll start with Ryan. Your matchups right now, if you want to talk about them. I think you were sitting at 1-1-1, and as of now, I think Irby DP took back that matchup. So you're 1-2 right now.
Yeah, definitely been talking for the last 5 or 6 weeks on the podcast about how my team's going to shit the bed, and they finally did. So it's been a long time coming, and I'm ready to get it out of my system before next week. I guess 2 weeks from now, hopefully. So we'll see.
Yeah, we can talk about that shortly too. So DP's back in the lead. I'm up on you. It's 9.5-2 right now. Big Mac's putting up a pretty solid week right now, which is frustrating to me because he's my closest matchup. And then DP is frustrating to pretty much both you and everybody in the league right now because he's playing a spoiler.
Yeah.
A lot of these matchups. So we can go over to Josh's team. Right now, you're losing to DP 6.5 to 5.5, and then you're up on Dodger Blues 7.5 to 4.5, and then you're tied with Carter 6 to 6.
Yeah, that just changed. I was down to Carter 6.5 to 5.5, and I had a guy score a run, so broke that tie. But that just changed. Carter has been sending me "fuck you" texts all week, every evening, because my guys have been smashing some homers. But he's staying pretty close to me, definitely. I'm gonna echo the sentiment of DP and Big Mac, maybe the 2 spoilers that we didn't see coming this week. I think we had talked about Allen on the podcast possibly being a spoiler, but yeah, I mean, Big Mac's only down by 1 to you, Eddie, and down by, I think it was 2 to to Irby. So 7-5, he's down by Irby. So that could be some spoilage there. And then DP just kind of came out of nowhere today and yesterday, running up some scores here to take the lead against me and Ryan. I've been thinking about this the last couple of days too. I need to at least get 2 wins this week to secure a top 2 seed. So Eddie, you're sitting at 3-0 right now. If I go 1-2, you got the tiebreaker on me, and I believe that puts me as the 3 seed. So if we both finish at 14 and 4, I'm down in the 3, and I don't think any of us on this channel right now want the 3 seed to have to play that wild card game. So Ryan, I don't know if that would be the same for you. I know you guys are figuring out your tiebreaker this week, but again, if you finish 1-2, or if you're level with Eddie and I somehow pull this out, you could find yourself as a 3-2. So there's still a lot to be said going into this weekend. That's for sure.
No, I'm just glad that everyone gets the fuck you Carter text like I do. So.
Oh yeah. It's been nightly.
Yeah, it's routine. It's a routine we go through.
Yeah,
something happens, fuck you.
I had made the comments before about like how awesome it's going to be to, go 6-0 in the final 2 weeks and sweep both of you as the divisional champs and still finish third and then get smoked by whoever the 6th seed is next week. So I am rooting for Niska this week to at least get one of you guys to go 1-2 so I can jump into that one of the top 2.
Yeah, he's pulling it off right now. He's pulling it off. So.
All right, so the next matchup we'll go to is Irby. Irby is just having a tough week right now. I'm up on him 8.5 to 3.5. Carter's beating him 7.5 to 4.5. And then he's up on Big Mac 7.5 to 5. So he's sitting at 1-2 right now, which will drop him down because Jared's sitting at 3-0. But he's just got a tough matchup with myself and Carter, and you touched on it that Big Mac probably was an easy win, but JD's still putting up a really solid performance going into what could be or probably is his last week managing his team.
Yeah, I'm just trying to update standings here live. So Ryan, you go ahead and talk about Irby since he's been in your division the whole time. But yeah, he is having a rough week, that's for sure.
I mean, we talked about it a little bit on the pod the last couple of weeks, and he specifically mentioned it too, is that although that he had a pretty good chance to compete, he did sell a little, and that had the potential to hurt him. And I don't know what the effect of the actual trades were broken down, but it was something that he kind of did talk about in reference. Like, I'm still trying.
Lost your audio.
Yeah, lost the audio there, Ryan. Well, I'll continue where Ryan left off until he gets back. But yeah, no, he was. I've heard different things about Irby as well, about him wanting to compete and go for it this year. Then I've also heard other things about him possibly just kind of tanking the end of the season and not going for it. But I mean, it doesn't look by any means that he was trying to not make the playoffs to get a better draft pick. I mean, he's the number 1 wild card team right now. So this week is not going to help him, that's for sure. Sitting at 9-9, and I'll update these. You got these matchups. So I'll update these records here of what it looks like it could be. But I don't know. I think Irby's still got a really good team. So he could squeak it out somehow. There's a lot of baseball to be played this weekend. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with the audio, but essentially we talked about it. He did sell some people. So he added plus add plus subtract, and it kind of equaled a balance. But I don't know if those trades have hurt him for this week at least. But he did move some pieces out for younger prospects and knew that could potentially hurt him too. So
yeah, absolutely. I guess Eddie, you go ahead and lead this where you want to go. I got our standings updated, which I do want to say, as of right now, we all 3 of us would be 14-4. So I would be on the outside, that 3 seed right now. So I hope something happens with you, Ryan, or Eddie. I need one of you guys to get one more loss there.
Is that the Thursday kiss of death? Ouch.
I mean, I'm not giving you props, so I guess it's just a legit. I'm hoping you lose. I'm not going to call it a kiss of death at all. I guess I got to give somebody, one of your opponents, a kiss props to, so they'll lose it, or you'll lose it that way.
All right. Did we just finish up with Irby?
Yeah.
Yeah, moving on to the other Ryan, Dodger Blue. Currently, he's sitting at 2-1, I think. Yeah, so he's losing to you, Josh, 4.5 to 7.5, and then he's up on Hopper, and he's up on Beast. So we can at least say he's going to go 2-1 because I know Hopper and Beast aren't trying, or they're playing, but they're trying not to win. So 2-1 gets him into the playoffs, I believe. I think he'll be pretty safe and is a lock for one of the wild cards. Your matchup's pretty close, Josh. I don't know what the actual breakdown is other than I've seen it bouncing between tied to 7-4, somewhere around that range.
Yeah, we're tied in RBIs right now. He's down a couple steals. On base is close. Slugging's close. So I mean, there's 4 categories of offense that could kind of still go either way. He's got me really good on ERA and WHIP right now, but wins and holds, we each don't really have much of anything there. So I mean, I saw your preview about how many pitchers we have left, and I think he doesn't really. Well, let's see, how many does he have left? It was
he only has 2.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll probably I got K's. I'll keep that. I'm hoping to steal wins from him.
It'll be interesting to see if he even runs those guys out, those 2 guys, if he has a pretty solid lock on ERA and WHIP, if he even runs them out, knowing he can't win any of the counting stats.
I agree. You know, he'll lose K's and wins, but otherwise he's got ERA and WHIP locked down right now. I got a long way to go to make up any ERA and WHIP. I'm sitting almost 3 runs ahead of him. So, I mean, yeah, he could, if he can steal some of these offensive categories. I mean, he could easily beat me as well for a 3-0 week.
Yeah, and I think it was mentioned on your guys' pod. We are locked into our divisions, right? No one can jump us
Correct.
anything. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. So we're recording this a couple hours before the waiver wire will run. So I'm not sure if everyone's going to have that 5 or 6 stream ad, or what they're going to do going into this final weekend of the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty quiet on waivers these last couple weeks, honestly. I haven't really been making many ads at all. I think I'm ready to ditch at least 1 or 2 of my poor performers, maybe take some dead money if I need to. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of you're going to see after or tonight, and then, even getting ready for playoffs. I think we're going to have some pretty active waivers these next 2 runs.
I did make a couple of moves just to kind of shore up and take a good, hard look at the lineup for the playoffs. And I'm genuinely regretting not dumping Eflin and all of his money. I think it's just kind of a wasted roster spot for me right now with how many starting pitchers I have added, even with Paxton out. So that kind of hurt. But I made a couple of small moves, but nothing streaming wise, just to kind of short my bullpen a little bit. And I don't know what that looks like. But after the trade deadline hit, I grabbed a couple of relievers that had changed teams and a couple of guys that were going to potentially be in the back end of the bullpen after their teams had made trades either for them or trading people away to lock them into more solidified positions. So that was the kind of the moves that I'm making right now, knowing that, hoping that I don't have to play next week. I can kind of just monitor and see what I need to do going forward. So,
yeah. I know everyone, anytime we're on some kind of medium, everyone's talking about the prospects coming up, calling up. But when I look at these waiver runs and I see some of the SPRP, the holds guys that everyone's going after, I haven't heard of half of these players' names. And Josh, what is the ruling on eligibility for next year? Like, if they acquire it after 1 or 2 SP considered starts, or they do that 1 relief appearance, are they going to have SPRP next year as well?
Stand by. Let me check what we voted on. I don't believe. I think they need 3. Is what we decided on. Let me see. I have.
So while he's looking that up, it was kind of a funny one. So I had 3 relievers go down, and I was looking for a reliever to add. I added Caleb Ferguson, which we talked about in the pod a couple weeks ago, and then he ends up starting a doubleheader for the Dodgers. He ends up starting game 2 of a doubleheader, gets starting pitching eligibility. I'm like, oh man, that was the sweetest ad of the year, maybe. So,
yeah. So, we went with Niska's 37%, essentially, of the current rules, which would mean that, in season they just need one pitching start, like you said, Ryan, to get eligibility. To carry it over, they need 2. So if you get 2, if a guy has 2 starts, he's going to carry it over to next year. 3 relief appearances, he's going to carry it over to next year. So, I mean, it is what it is. We're not going to spend time on this, but I was definitely one of the ones that kind of wanted a little bit of a higher threshold to not have these guys that come in and throw 2 innings to start, a doubleheader or back end, and carry over that eligibility. But, next year's holds guys, the starting pitcher eligibilities are going to, there's going to be a lot of them at least for us to choose from. So we'll see how that goes too.
I'll throw out my last name of Seth Lugo going into the Mets rotation. I was so excited for it, and then I realized, I only had him like on a 1 or 2 year contract, so I can't keep him anyways. All right, let's move over to Carter's team. He's sitting at 2-0-1 right now, tied with you, Josh. So just looking at your guys' matchup, you're tied. You're beating him by 1 run, 2 homers. You're tied in RBIs and stolen base. OBP is probably not changing. Slugging's not changing, but I think you'll take. Well, Carter has, I think, the most SPs left. So if he,
him and I are going to be pretty close when it comes to pitching counting stats. Like he's gonna take, unless he just has a complete blow up, he's gonna take the ERA and WHIP from me. Wins and Ks are going to be really close. So that could honestly, turn our matchup. Who gets it this week is the wins and the Ks.
I think it'll be really interesting to see what the waiver wire looks like for the 4 guys that are all fighting for those last 3 spots. Because like I said, I know what mine looks like. There's not a whole lot of movement, maybe 1 or 2 pieces, and that's just to kind of short stuff up. I don't know what you guys look like, but I could see it being a wild waiver wire between those four guys.
I mean, Carter's always super active on the waiver wire. I know Jared, adds guys when he needs to. Same for Irby and Dodger. So yeah, I don't think any of them are gonna, miss that chance of adding somebody tonight. That's for sure.
all right, sorry. I was looking at Carter and Irby's matchup, and I thought I had just read off the stuff that's separating them in their categories, but this was, I think, one of your guys' highlight matchups of the week, right? Carter versus Irby.
Yep.
And it's not disappointing. It is bouncing back and forth. They're tied in homers.
Their slugging is right there too.
Yep.
They got everything is so close right now. Maybe Carter might be stealing the runs. He's 8 runs ahead, which could change, but that's kind of a big gap. Homers, RBIs, steals, OBP slugging still relatively close too. So yeah, I mean the offense is really close. All 5 out of the 6.
I can't pull it up. I'm on my phone right now, but looking at it, if the standings finish the way they are, and the only thing that's left to be determined is Irby's and Carter's matchup, is that a determining factor whether who gets in or not?
No. So we can. Do we want to go to the standings as they are now, or do we want to close out with Demo first?
Yeah, let's close.
Yeah.
His team has been on a roll. He's going to go 3-0 this week again, but he had the pretty good matchups this week with Bad Specimen, Hopper, and Beast. So I know he got kind of screwed over last week. He put up a really good week and ended up 1-2 or 0-3. So this was the week that the fantasy gods rewarded him with. So going 3-0, I think, is a lock to get him in. He'll finish at 10-8. And I don't think any of his matchups are very close at all. I think the closest one is like 8.5 or 8.5 to 3.
Yeah, we talked about it on the podcast. Unknown, I guess, if you will, is Demo's the league leader in roto points for the standing. He's sitting at 109.5 right now as far as roto points. That's good for first place. Yet he's on the outside looking in for playoffs, which is, again, we are a head-to-head category league. So you gotta win those individual matchups. But he's had a great season. He really has.
All right, now we can switch over unless you had anything to add, Ryan.
No, I agree. We talked about his team being pretty decent. It's showing up late, which is when you need it to show up if you're on the outside looking in. So it looks like he's going to sneak in if he sticks the way that it is, and they'll go from there.
All right,
Yeah, so I mean, I have the updated standings in front of me as of right now, based off of these win totals or projections, and you're absolutely right. He is going to sneak in at the very least at 10-8. That 6th seed is where he would be. Again, if the playoffs started tomorrow, these were the end of the year standings. Eddie, you would actually leapfrog Ryan and myself to the number 1 seed at 14-4. Then Ryan, you would get the number 2 seed since you beat me, have the tiebreaker over me at 14-4, and then I would be the 3 seed at 14-4. So we'd have a 3-way tie for top record. Yet I lost to both of you guys, so I'm on the outside looking in of those bye weeks. And I would get Demo in the first round. He would work his way up to 10-8. Carter and Dodger, the other two teams at the 4 and 5. Carter would be 11-7. Dodger would be 10-8, and Dodger has the tiebreaker. He beat Demo three times in a row this week or this season. He beat him 3-0. So Irby outside looking in, then he'd be the 7th team, the first one to miss at 9-9. So he definitely needs to, that matchup against Carter would really swing things. Even if Carter wins, or if Irby wins and Carter loses. Let me rephrase. If Irby wins that matchup and everything else stays the same, we got 4 teams at 10-8. So that would be all hell breaking loose there.
Yeah, that becomes a coin toss. I mean, I don't even know what that would look like if you even tried to break it down.
Well, no, I could break it down for you right now. That would be obviously Irby. Irby would have the tiebreaker over Carter. Irby has the tiebreaker.
We did talk about it. That Carter had lost all the tiebreakers.
Yes.
So
yes. So
if Irby wins, he's in.
Carter's. Yeah, Carter cannot. He can only tie Irby, or if he beats Irby, then he has that tiebreaker. But again, we're talking about if he loses, so he would lose that. He does not have it with Demo or Dodger. So yeah, if that was the case, I mean, I think the easiest solve is that Carter's out. Irby's in. So really in the grand scheme of things, it's that matchup that swings that 3 seed for Carter or the 7 seed for Carter. I mean, he's either in as the 3 or 4 or he's out.
That was what we determined. If they did all end up the same, Carter had lost all 3 tiebreakers. So
yeah, Demo and Dodger are set. Demo has it over Irby. Dodger has it over Irby has it over Dodger. So I mean, there's some seeding issues, obviously. I'm sure none of them want to get one of to be the 6th seed against one of us either. So that would have to work some things out. But yeah, this is huge for Carter and Irby. It's a huge matchup.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just looking back at Carter and Irby's matchup. So you would think that Carter's going to win that one, though, right? Because he's got so many more pitchers going. His ERA and WHIP is solid compared to Irby's to begin with. So he's going to pick up wins probably if he gets a save or a hold. It's going to come down to hitting for the most part. Yeah,
I mean, he's got – well, he doesn't really have any saves guy other than Rosenthal. But
you never know what happens. He has Pomeranz too, but you never know what happens with 6 starts, man. Trust me, I know that for a fact.
He does have Pomeranz, you're right. You'd think he would pick up a hold. You'd think he'd pick up at least 1 save. Irby has not really any save guys at all. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to hinge on the ERA and WHIP. Or it's essentially the same as what mine is right now. So if his guys blow up, yeah, I mean, Irby could sneak up there and at least maybe force a tie or have something close. He's going to lose Ks probably and wins for sure. Like you said, he doesn't have the numbers to go the volume. But I mean, we could see Irby pull an Allen, a 2019 Allen, and add 12 guys starters off the waiver wire, in this last weekend. So
I did see, looking at the Roto standings for the week, that Carter did have Irby if it ended up being 6-6. So
and I think he's up
as of this afternoon. As of this afternoon,
yeah.
Yeah, Carter's sitting at number 2 right now, so he's pretty safe. He's got him by over 20 points.
I'm excited to see the text message from Carter like Sunday morning saying that he forgot to start like 3 of his starters.
No, if Carter is anything, he is attentive when he needs to be. So
that's very true. Yeah, so he's got Carrasco, May, and Singer. He'll bring those up. I mean, he's got May against that's in LA though, so not at Coors. But yeah, he's got 3 tomorrow. Let's look at his other guys. Savali, who just kind of got blown up. Maeda against the Tigers. You'd think that would be a good start for Maeda. And then on Sunday, he's rolling Keuchel. He could probably bring up Framber if he needs the volume too, Framber Valdez. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be tough to see it's tough to find a path where his ERA gets blown up. I think he's pretty safe to win ERA and WHIP and pull those volume accounting stats as well.
Yeah.
It's also the puzzle of Carter, so I'm not going to try and dive into that mind.
Also true. Also true.
All right, gentlemen. I don't have anything else. Like I said, we tried to do this with several different time zones separating all of us. So I appreciate you guys being able to come on and kind of talk how the playoffs could be shaping up these last 3 days. If you have any closing comments, please feel free to share.
Assistant to the commish, go ahead.
I texted Josh probably, I don't know, Monday maybe, and said, hey, long week, bunch of stuff going on. It was Tuesday because it was after the pod. I said, did I miss Thursday inning stretch last week? So he said, no, it didn't happen. And I went, oh man, I look forward to it. So I'm glad we got to be a part. I'm glad he allowed us to come on and chit chat. I think it was a pretty cool episode live statting while it's going on. I think Kershaw's still throwing a no hitter, but I don't know. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'll rebuttal with the comment of with all the postponements last week, I was just not feeling it, and I knew there were a bunch of doubleheaders coming up too, so I didn't want to just throw stuff out there and then it is what it is. But I'm glad we got this one out. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, no, we all love the Thursday inning stretch. Glad to be a part of maybe the last one of the season here. And yeah, we're gonna roll with the pod on Monday as well, I believe, or at least early next week. I don't want to say yet, but we got a guest coming on, so we do have a guest for the next week's pod already. I'm looking forward to that one, and it'll be just a playoff preview and a regular season recap. So yeah, as I'm glad I'm safe in the playoffs as of right now, because I would not want to be trying to figure out, especially the way my matchups are going right now, would not want to be trying to figure out if I'm going to make it, as these other 4 guys are. Although we obviously have our seeding to be played out, so it's going to be a fun weekend. We'll see how it goes.
Let Eddie close it out, but I'll make one more comment, and that is I can guarantee that the guest this week is not Eddie, but Eddie may make an appearance on the pod in the middle of the postseason if there's not going to be a Thursday inning stretch. He has an open invite, so
fair enough.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like doing the Thursday inning stretch just because it kind of helped me as well see where everyone was standing throughout the year. I don't think if I wasn't paying attention as much, I wouldn't realize like Jared is just dominating in the Roto standings, other than his constant text messages about getting screwed but being the best team. So
yeah, that's true. Very true.
All right, gentlemen, appreciate it. Looking forward to the weekend. Best of luck to everybody, especially Niska. Good luck out there. Take them down.
It's not very nice.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for having us, Eddie.
All right.
See you.